Okay, so we are now recording. So this problem was very similar to one that you all actually had on an exam, or I'll put it to you this way, I edited this problem for one of your test questions. So what we have here is we have a basic problem where they want to talk about blocking, and this is also a good problem for randomization, randomization, or the purpose of it or its necessity. So researchers who are studying a new shampoo formula plan to compare the condition of hair for people who use the new formula with the condition of hair for people who use the current formula. So new versus current. 12 volunteers are available to participate in the study. Information on these volunteers, number 1 through 12, are shown in the table below. The researchers want to conduct an experiment involving two formulas. They believe that the condition of hair changes with age, but not gender. Because the researchers want the size of the blocks in an experiment to be equal to the number of treatments, they will use blocks of size 2 in their experiment. Identify the volunteers by number that would be included in each of the 6 blocks, and give the criteria you use to form the blocks. Okay, so first off, they're saying, hey, you got 12 people, we want blocks of size 2. That means, okay, we're going to need 6 blocks. Well, how do you block? Well, you block on the variable that we believe is going to be most important or the greatest factor. And so in this case, they say that age is the greatest, it has a significant impact, but gender doesn't. So since age has a significant impact, we're going to block by age. Now, I will tell you that I made a table out of this just because it's easier for me on the computer to make a table. But if you made little boxes where you had 6 little boxes and you numbered them block 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then you wrote the volunteer numbers 1 and 2, 10 and 11, 8 and 9, 3 and 12, 4 and 7, 5. That would be great. You did not have to include, you did not need to include their ages, but you either had to have age or volunteer number. Specifically in the problem, it sounded like they were asking for the volunteer number. But if you had age or volunteers and blocked it that way, you were fine. And then this is the next part is the part that I think a lot of people mess up on, or they miss, because most everyone does pretty well on getting the blocks right, which I think is really exciting. But some people miss the second part of the question, which is give the criteria you use to form the blocks. And they go, well, I said I block by age. Well, that's good that you're blocking by age, but that only gets you partial credit. To get full credit, you have to say why you're blocking by age. And the reason I'm blocking by age is because I believe that it's the variable that will have the greatest impact. So in this case, because the researchers believe that the age has the greatest impact on hair condition, I will block by age. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to block by age. Closest age in a block together, and I'm not going to worry about gender. You do not need to say regardless of gender. I included that for your information, but you didn't need to have a regardless by gender, but you needed to say have your 6 blocks, and then you needed to say I'm blocking by age because it has, we believe it has the greatest impact on the study. Okay. Part B is also going to be set up the same way, in that it's be really important that you give the criteria. But other researchers believe that hair condition differs with both age and gender. Researchers will use blocks of size 2 in their experiments, identify the volunteers by number that would be included in each of the 6 blocks, and give the criteria used to form the blocks. So now they're telling me that gender is also an impactful variable, as is age. Well, for me, it's much easier to block by gender first because that's a binary situation for this. At least it's binary for this, maybe not trying to make any comments there. But so we're going to sit there and we're going to put females in one group and males in one group. So I'll make that division first. And then within the females, I'm going to block by age. So basically, I'm going to have 3 female blocks and I'm going to have 3 male blocks. So they should look something like this. And once again, If you made 3 boxes that look like females and were labeled 1 and 2, and 3 boxes for males, etc., where you put their volunteer number or their age number or both, that would be great. And then once again, you must give the criteria you use to form the blocks. Well, the criteria was because age and gender both impact hair condition, I will block on both variables. And then I explained what I did. I blocked on gender first, placing all females in a block and all males in another block. Then I block by age so that females nearest in age and males nearest in age will be blocked together. All right. Part C. The researchers in Part B decided to select 3 of the 6 blocks to receive the new formula and to give the other 3 blocks the current formula. So basically, they're either going to give one group the current and one group and the other group the new formula. And I want to know, is this an appropriate way to assign treatments? And no, it's not an appropriate way to assign treatments. You need to within each block, you must randomly assign the treatments. So the very first thing you're going to say is, no, this is not an appropriate way to assign treatments. But if you just said that, that was an incomplete response. So that got you no credit. So just a no or not an appropriate way is not. You must say the randomization must occur within each block. But if you stopped there, you only got a partial. You had to go back, you had to go all the way through and answer the last part, which was describe an appropriate way, an appropriate method of assigning the treatments. All right, so in this case, I would select one block and put the numbers of the 2 volunteers in a hat and mix. The volunteers whose number was drawn would receive the new formula and the other would receive the old. I would repeat this process for each of the 6 blocks. Now, could you have done this by flipping a coin? Yes, but if you do that, you must say, I would take one block, I'd flip a coin. If it's heads, the low number would get the new treatment, and the larger number, volunteer number, would get the current treatment. If it's tails, we would switch it. But you must be very specific. And for me, a hat is just an easy way to go about discussing how I'm going to approach assigning the treatments. I just think the hat's a very, very safe way to go through this. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and then we can answer questions that you all may have. So stopping the recording.